On Friday, December 27th at 7:30 p.m. at St. Andrews River Heights United Church, the Women's Musical Club of Winnipeg will be holding their annual Scholarship Winners Recital. Six marvelous Manitoba musicians have won $11,500 in prizes, and on Friday the 27th, they will have the opportunity to show what set them apart from the rest. The third place winner of the Madeleine Gauvin Scholarship of $2,000 was soprano Dainna Rockwell. Dainna is currently pursuing a Master's of Music at the University of Manitoba, studying with Tracy Dahl. Prior to her studies at the Desautels Faculty of Music, she was a student in the vocal performance program at the University of Alberta, where she earned her BMus. Aside from her prize with the WMC, Dainna won the Rose Bowl Trophy for the Winnipeg Music Festival this year, 2024, and has also was the first prize winner in the 2023 CFMTA National Vocal Competition. And joining me here over Zoom, I am joined by soprano Dainna Rockwell. Hi, Dainna. So nice to meet you here over Zoom.
Hello, hello. Nice to meet with you as well.
Mm. So I was reading your bio. It says you're originally from Yellowknife. You flew home for Christmas. Are you in Yellowknife now? And if you are, I'm sort of curious what the temperature is that is there now. What's the weather like?
Yes, I am at home. I'm sitting in my room with my lovely view of the very, very snowy lake. And I think today it's sitting around -30, nice and sunny.
Oh wow! So you are colder than us. I was gonna like be. Oh,
Yeah,
I think we got you beat. I think it's minus
yeah.
20 here. Yeah, it's freezing.
Yeah. No, I stepped off the plane this weekend and I was like, oh, it's only -25. It's so warm. There have been a few, especially in the last few years, it's very normal for it to be like straight temperature -41, 42 on Christmas Day, especially. So yeah, it's a little balmy here right now.
When are you flying back to Winnipeg so you can perform on the 27th?
I am flying back on the 26th.
So
Yeah.
Boxing Day. Mm.
Boxing
Uh,
Day. Yeah.
Before we get to your studies here in Winnipeg, you did your undergrad at the University of Alberta. As a former resident of Edmonton myself, my family moved to Winnipeg when I was a teenager. I have a real soft spot for the University of Alberta. Can you talk about what it was like to study there and how was it studying with John Tessier?
Oh yes, for sure. I really, really, really enjoyed my time in my undergrad. I mean, it was hard because well, about a year and a half was like major COVID time. It hit right at the end of my first year. So I was
Mm,
forever grateful that I had almost an entire year of like what normal university life looks like pre-pandemic. And so it was tough, navigating like lessons online and classes online, especially in such a practical program like music and like voice.
mm,
Um, but I came out of that reconnecting with my university community and really forging some like lifelong friendships. And that's not to mention the faculty, like studying with John Tessier. I
mm,
remember when I was applying to go into undergrad, my mother, who is a big background in music, was like, you should go study with John Tessier. You should go study with John Tessier. And I'm like, I don't know who this person is, but sure, I'll go study with John Tessier. And he is just a wonderful human being and a wonderful teacher, and really set me up well to come and now study with Tracy at the University of Manitoba for my master's. In
mm.
addition to that, they have an amazing coach, Shannon Hebert, there, who is a huge mentor to me and also just gave me so much guidance and advice to help me along my journey. So I have an extremely fond memories of my time in Edmonton.
Mhm. And now you're studying at the University of Manitoba at the Digital Faculty of Music with Tracy Dahl. Everybody who studied with her loves her. What's been your experience?
Absolutely. I can understand why everyone says that. She, like John, is one of the most kind human beings ever. And so incredibly sensitive. Um, and yeah, getting like sometimes I have to pinch myself that I walk into her studio and I go, "Oh, I'm studying with Tracy Dahl." Like
Mm.
because she can be so incredibly like down to earth and normal. And then you step into places on an internet where you get people from an international um realm coming and saying, "Oh my gosh, you're Tracy Dahl. It's such a pleasure to meet you." And I go, "Wow, that's my teacher." So it's been really, really special. Yeah.
Mhm. I want to talk about your voice type for a second. Are you a coloratura soprano, or would you consider yourself a lyric?
I'm more lyric, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I came into my master's singing different repertoire than I do now that we've been working on now. Um and that's been some great help from Tracy. And I'm doing a course this semester actually this year where I get to work with Monica Huseman as well.
Mhm.
And that's been really wonderful because she and I do sing a lot more of the same repertoire.
Right.
So that's lovely. So yes, I would classify myself more as lyric for sure.
Can you talk about like some of the composers that fit your voice well and that you're really comfortable singing?
Yes, for sure. Mozart. Mozart is the
Mhm.
one that comes to mind first. I've sung a lot and I find him fascinating. And that's what I've been told by a variety of different sources that is a color that fits my voice really well, and I'll probably sing a lot of it.
Mhm.
As I do intend to go into this as a professional career. Um what else? I did a set of Mahler works at the end of my undergrad that
Mhm.
really, really felt good. And I do love exploring his repertoire as well. I've sung a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of Strauss. And I'm very excited to work more on that. What else? Oh, and
What about Schubert songs?
Schubert. Yes, I've done some Schubert. I think there was John was super nice and let me do König in my undergrad, which is a little atypical for a soprano, but I was so passionate about it. He let me do it. But in terms of more German repertoire, I did a lovely Berg cycle last year on my first year master's recital.
Mhm.
And I also did a huge Britten cycle, and I found a great love of Benjamin Britten. As I've also started working on one of his arias as well.
Mhm.
From
So it leads to my next question. What can audiences expect to hear on the 27th? What are you going to be singing?
I will be singing some Mozart. I'll be
Mm.
singing an aria from Così fan tutte, which is the role that I'm doing for my role study course with Monica and Tracy this year. So that's sung by Fior di Ligi, and audiences may remember Manitoba Opera's production of it a couple of years ago with Tracy Dahl and directed by Rob Harriott. And then I'm also going to be singing a small section from a set of Schumann songs for that I've been working on for my recital this year. And that's from 5 poems of Mary Stuart, which is a very
Mm.
unknown Schumann cycle and happened actually right at the very end of his kind of composing life.
Mm.
And it's been really, really fun getting to explore those because I'm a bit of a history nerd. So these are words from Mary Queen of Scots that have
Right.
been set to music. So that's really lovely. And then my final piece, which I sang for the scholarship competition in May, is Ah, je ris de me voir si belle, or the Jewel Song from Gounod's Faust.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Um, During your time here in Winnipeg, is there a part of your singing that you feel has really improved? And I'm just going to say, one of the things I find so fascinating with singers is just the maturity of the voice. Like very often with singers, it takes a while for the voice to mature. Very often singers won't get their real start in their career until they're in their 30s. Do you feel like your voice has changed, and are you more comfortable singing certain things since you've been studying here in Winnipeg?
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely yes. If I could say that in all caps, it would be in all caps. Just even within the first couple of months when Tracy and I were exploring what fit and what didn't fit, and we were trying to find more depth and more color to my sound, because I am on, like, in the grand scheme of things, I am an extremely young soprano, especially to be exploring the repertoire that I've started to explore.
Mm,
I do have a lot more growing to do, which is it sometimes it's hard to tackle because I want to stay in the music world, but finding a path where I can keep training, but also like make a living on the side, that's a difficult thing that I think a lot of musicians or performers have to navigate.
mm,
Um, but even listening back, it's kind of miraculous. It feels like every time I come into the studio and every time I bring in a different piece of music for Tracy, my voice changes. And every time she gives me a piece of advice, my voice changes because it's always this step-by-step brick building process. And then I have been doing a lot of auditions and applications this fall for trying to find my next step for next year. And so recording after recording of almost this of the same aria oftentimes, because it just gets better every
mm,
time, is something that I've been tackling and going and processing and going through. And then also listening to recordings of my recital last year, which was only like, it was like less than 6 months, no, 7 months. Yes, so 7 months ago. My voice is completely different then than it is now. And that's crazy, like 7 months.
mm.
Yeah. So,
Fantastic, fantastic.
and it's just going to keep on growing, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful thing about the human voice. I'm going to wrap up the conversation by asking, uh, how did it feel to win third place in the WMC competition?
Oh my gosh, it was wonderful. Um, like I know a few of the other sopranos who have won places in the scholarship competition before, and I know their voices and I know how extremely talented they are. So to be with that group of lovely ladies is extremely touching for me, and they are off doing wonderful things right now as well. But also I went in going, I've sung my recital, I've sung Rose Bowl, I was in the Manitoba Opera Chorus, um, coming in and doing it was basically my last thing before coming home for the summer. I went in with my lovely collaborative pianist who will be playing with me on the 27th, Annika Workentine, who is in her master's at the university right now and who's become my really good friend in the time we've worked together. Just going in, it was songs that we had performed and played together so often that it just felt more like a sharing and a celebration of all the work that we had done as this last culminating event. And then that in itself was such a lovely experience. And then to win a place in the competition after that was just the cherry on top. So
Fantastic. Diana, this has been so great to sit down here over Zoom and chat with you today. All the best on the 27th, and thanks for taking the time out of your vacation to talk to me today.
wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris.